Hi and welcome to Chris Ryan Golf. You've joined me at the Belfry. We're out here on the short game area and we're going to give you 3 key things that you can focus on to make sure you stop duffing your chips. So I don't really need to go into too much detail as to why we want to stop this shot. You often get pretty close to the green, maybe in 2. You feel like you've almost done the hard work, and then often you hit a poor shot from here, the ball only goes a yard and you're faced with the same sort of shot again. It's quite demoralizing, it robs you of confidence, and we really want to try and get that out of your game. So we're going to go through 3 things that you might want to do or look at during your practice, which is going to help you make sure you eliminate that shot. So the first one we're going to do is a setup thing. I want you to make sure that the golf ball isn't too far back in your stance. I want you to try and make sure that you've got the golf ball pretty much directly under the buttons on your shirt or the zip in your jacket, whatever it may be, and you've got a small amount of lean forward in the golf club. What we want to try and avoid is setups where there is too much lean forward in the golf club, where the ball gets too far back. And what this does, it promotes an attack angle which is far too steep. If we get the attack far too steep, that is when we're going to start to get these clubs straight into the ground. We're going to find we have too much interaction with the ground, and those are often the shots which only go about a yard in front of us. So many of you who struggle with these shots will have maybe a setup such as this, where the sternum's too far in front of the ball, and then what we often find from there is we get that kind of, you know, really steep angle of attack, and the ball comes out really quick, and it's very difficult to control that. So point number 1 is to make sure that we get a nice neutral setup where you feel the ball is nicely under your sternum. Point number 2 is all about making sure that the angle of attack is nice and shallow into the golf ball. Now, this is based on a chip from a pretty good lie. If we had a really poor lie, thick grass that was sitting very much down, we may need to adjust our technique. But from the lie we've got here, relatively short grass, nothing really particularly poor about this lie. We want to get this attack angle quite shallow. So the way we're going to do that is, we've got our setup, we're going to make sure we don't have excessive wrist action in the backswing. If we have excessive wrist action in the backswing, often the club can come down, again, far too steep. I want you to feel that we're getting a nice, wide-ish motion. I don't certainly want you to feel that the wrists are dead solid. I don't mind a little bit of wrist action there at all, that's fine. But what I want is that feeling that the club's nice and low to the ground. I don't want that club getting picked up far too steep, because again, if it comes upwards too much, it's often going to find it gets very, very steep, and this is where those poor shots come from. What we don't generally like as golfers is we don't like this sensation of the club approaching the ground at quite a high rate. If we do that, we're going to hit the ground, or you're going to find you pull away from the ground and you start to get the ones that shoot right across the green, and you're again chipping, but you're back onto the green. So point number 2 is to make sure that we haven't got excessive wrist action. A little bit of wrist action is absolutely fine. That brings us on to point number 3. And point number 3 is to really think about how you're using your body in the shot. I want you to feel that even though we're only hitting this ball maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 yards through the air, we are still feeling that we're rotating the body towards the target. So I'm starting to make sure that the handle is continuing to move past that golf ball, okay? Notice how my body and my arms are very much synced up, and that's causing the handle to move a nice distance through the ball. What we don't want is to get the hands and the body stopping, we get the wrists flicking, and again what we're going to find is it's very difficult to make that contact, and really the contact on these shots is absolutely everything. So make sure that in your practice swings before you hit the shot, you're feeling you're rotating that body through to the target. Notice how my belt buckle is beginning to face the target, my arms are still nice and out in front of me, and the grip has travelled a good distance past that golf ball. If we can do those 3 things, so I've got my setup, I'm not going to have excessive wrist set, and I'm going to keep turning through the ball. We can hit some nice little chip shots where we can control the strike, we can control the trajectory, and that in turn lets us help control that distance that ball goes. So let me just hit one more for you, and let's go through those 3 things. So I have got my, get the ball in the right position, I've got the ball nicely under my buttons, hand a little bit forward. I'm going to make sure that I keep the wrist action to a minimum. I'm going to keep turning through the golf ball with my body, and there we get that nice trajectory, lands on the green, hopefully rolls out to your target. So 3 things that you can do there, which are hopefully going to help you eliminate that duff chip shot from your game. Hopefully you'll get up and down more often, and that will hopefully lower your scores. So remember those 3 things, and hopefully you'll chip that ball much, much closer. Right, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, any comments, you can post those in the boxes down below. There's also a like button down there, so please go ahead and click that if you did like the video, and please make sure you subscribe to my channel. There is loads more videos and more content on my channel right now, over 200 videos and more uploaded every week. Right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.